Hi, so today I want to take a look at reverse pivots. If you don't know what a reverse pivot is, it's when the weight goes the wrong way in the golf swing. Normally when you're trying to throw something or propel something a long way in the distance forward in front of you, you put your weight back the way first and then forward. So you've got all your body weight going forward with your arms to throw something. And it's the same with golf swings. If you look at all the best players in the world, they get a little bit onto the right side in the backswing and then they move all their weight through really powerfully forward towards the actual target. When I get people coming for lessons with a reverse pivot, it is one of the harder things to get rid of. And one of the best tips I've used over the years for this is the one I'm about to show you. Just to explain exactly what the reverse pivot looks like, if you've got one, it'll look a bit like this. Your weight maybe sets up, say for argument's sake the weight is in the middle to start with. What happens on a reverse pivot is the weight goes onto the left side on the way back and then returns to the right foot, causing the club to go way up in the air, losing power, all sorts of things going wrong. The correct method is when you start in the middle, you weight up the right side a little bit, and then the weight's able to travel through onto the left, down through the ball, staying over the shot a little bit more, and hitting the ball forward and not so much just up in the air. So it's a bit like if you were throwing a ball and you did a reverse pivot, it would look like this. You'd go forward first and then you'd throw the ball like that. And you just wouldn't ever do that. That would just look ridiculous. So normally when you're throwing a ball, you go back like this onto your right side and then forward to propel it forward. So that's how you would do it. So the best thing I've seen and that helps people reverse pivot, because it is a difficult thing to get rid of, it's part of people's trigger mechanism as well. So it's quite difficult to get rid of because it's part of the takeaway. So what I tend to see a lot of people doing is this: from the minute they take the club away, the weight goes onto that left side. So you have to separate some of the things that you're doing. You have to get arms to move away separately from the body, but sometimes that's not enough. And so what I tend to get people to do to help them is to preset their weight on the right side, to feel what that's like in the backswing, and then just stay there. So you set up, instead of being 50-50 weight distribution, you press into this right foot a little bit. So you're just deliberately pressing in there. I've got probably 65% of my weight on my right foot. Now all I'm going to do is stay in that position. A little bit of flex in that knee, keep the flex in the knee, keep the weight pressed into that foot. I'm a lot lighter than on this foot than I am on this one at the moment, and I just swing and stay there. And that's how the top of your backswing should feel to you. And if you've been doing a reverse pivot all your days, that will feel completely alien, because every time you get up to the top, you don't realise it, but you're pressing into this left foot too much. And that's wrong, because no matter what you try, if you're on that left foot at the top of that swing, and you try to swing through like Rory McIlroy, you'll swing and have to step forward, you'll lose your balance. So what happens is your body rebalances itself. If you go onto this left foot and you think, well, I can't go forward now, I'm going to have to come back to the middle here. And by the time you know what you're doing, your weight's going back and you're hitting away up in the air. You're adding loft to the club face, all sorts of bad stuff happening. Try that idea where you set up, you go 50-50 weight, then you press into that right foot, and as you swing back, you stay there on that right foot. Now the weight's behind it, the ball, and you can drive through towards the target uninhibited, hitting down through the shot as well. So that is basically what all top players do. They get their weight slightly behind it, and then they drive with the legs first, arms coming down, creating that lag and that downward hit and that powerful trajectory that goes forward more than up. There's all sorts of reasons why you would have a reverse pivot in the first place, and one of them is aiming. So a lot of the bad shots that are developed with all players is because of aiming in the first place, and a reverse pivot is part of that. A reverse pivot is people aiming to the right too much. So instead of being, say, the target straight ahead of me there, and I've got my feet parallel left, accidentally aiming this way, reverse pivot helps me to come over the top and get it back towards the target. So there's reasons for it. So changing it in itself is one thing, and that is what this video is about, is how to get rid of it. And that's probably the best way I've found over the years teaching to get rid of it, is to set your weight on the right side, stay there, and then move through. But you have to bear in mind that there are other contributing factors as to why you're doing it in the first place. It comes about because of aiming to begin with. Bear that in mind. You've got to get yourself feet parallel left of the target, and then you're hitting down the target line. I've done videos on that and I'll do other ones on it, because it is the key thing which causes problems in the golf swing. Once you get that sorted, go out, try this drill, get your weight set on the right foot, stay there, and then try to drive your legs through. That's, as I say, the most successful method I've seen over the years of getting rid of a reverse pivot. So I hope that helped. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.